Hey everybody, it is Melanie and it's Sunday evening and I promised you guys I would go live and I would talk to you a little bit about planning, and you've asked a bazillion questions, which I love. I asked everybody if they would drop their planning questions underneath of the post that I did this morning, and I said I would go live and address it. And so here we are. I am live, and even if you're hopping on right now, you can still ask some planning questions and I will answer those for you guys live right now. All right, so tag a friend. Even if you're listening to the playback, go ahead and tag a friend in this recording. All right. So planning is something that I have done since I started launching my business all the way back in 2011. And the reason that I got really laser focused on what my weekly game plan was is because my business was running me. I was wasting a lot of time. I felt very out of balance and my priorities were out of whack, and my husband was kind of irritated with me because I wasn't really good with balancing my time and my personal life and my business and all of the things, and everything just felt extremely chaotic and out of control. And so I will tell you that I made a very conscious decision to become disciplined in this area of planning. And so, yes, I do actually sit down and plan my business hours for the week. I plan what I'm going to do during those business hours. I plan out my themes and the topics of my social media content for the week. I don't write out every single post ahead of time, but I always know what my strategy is and why that is my strategy. All right. So let's kind of walk you through my Sunday morning planning. I do this every single week, every Sunday. And I always notice that, for example, if I'm traveling or I'm on vacation or my kids are involved with a Sunday activity and I don't get this planning time, it really does affect my productivity throughout the week. So even if you're a hobby coach or a hobby business owner, or you are just part-time at building your own business, you still have to have a plan, because winging it is not going to get you there. And a lot of times we go through the motions, but we really have to be intentional if we want to grow a business, okay? So I say to myself every single Sunday, I sit down and I do use that Rise Up planner. That is the planner that I have. I talk about it all the time. It's linked in my bio to Amazon. I didn't write it. This planner is a one that one of my very close friends wrote and created, but every single week, I sit down and I review last week. So that is always where I start. And I say to myself, okay, what did I do last week? These are the questions I say to myself. Did I sell anything? Did I enroll any new business owners? Did I hit my weekly goals that I wanted to hit for the week? I look back at my time. How did I do as far as my time went? And so I get very crystal clear on how did my week go? Where was I in that sort of continuum? And then I write down, I evaluate what I did last week, and I say, okay, based on what I did last week, here's what I want to do for this week. So if I didn't reach my recruiting goal, or if I didn't reach my income goal, I'm going to just set a new goal. And then I'm going to say, what are going to be the business building activities that I'm going to need to do in order to reach that goal? And so I start this sort of brainstorming list of all the things that I can do to get to where I want to be. All right. So now I look at my calendar and I look at the current week ahead and I start to put things on the calendar. So for example, I know that tomorrow my kids have, they have basketball from 6 to 7:30 tomorrow night. So that is on my calendar, right? 6 to 7:30, but I don't have to go to that. My husband coaches that. He takes both of my boys. That is 2 hours of personal Melanie time that I can devote to projects and business time. That's not going to be me running errands or going to the grocery store. That is my time to be super laser focused on growing my business, right? I'm going to look at when I work out every day because that's really important to me. So on my calendar, 5 a.m. a.m. is my workout every single day. I have my workout clothes. Like I started pulling out my clothes and laying them out for the week. So they're all in my closet right now, laid out. So I know exactly, I don't have to think about it. I can just grab the outfit and go in the morning. I started to kind of block in, like, when am I going to be working? And I started blocking out times throughout the week. When my kids were really little, I had these like pockets of time. So it was like 45 minutes in the morning and an hour and a half in the afternoon and evenings and weekends. And I was very, very much like, even when my life was chaotic and it didn't have structure because my kids were little and it was unpredictable, I created structure. So I did make my kids nap at the same time. I got them on the same nap schedule. I made sure they went to bed at a certain time at night. My husband started helping me out with the bedtime routine or getting the kids up on the weekend so that I could build my business. And I communicated when I needed his help and what it looked like. So every Sunday I sit down and I go, okay, Matt, this is my week. I've got a call on Monday night. I've got an early Tuesday call I need to do. I'm going to need your help getting the kids on the bus, or I'm going to need you to do bedtime on Monday nights, right? And so because I had a plan and I had goals and I shared all of that with him. And then what I did was, when I worked, I actually did the things that started to produce the income. So therefore I had his support and buy-in. So I had to prove myself and I had to work hard. I couldn't waste my time scrolling social media, comparing myself, getting in my own head, online shopping when I was supposed to be working. I had to be disciplined during my business hours to get results so that he would continue to support me, in with the kids, right? And so that was a big part of this planning process. So yes, I do plan. Now, the next thing somebody asked me is, do I have a posting schedule? And the answer is yes, I do. I have a posting schedule. So I ask myself every single Sunday, right? So this is my posting schedule. And I don't plan every piece of content, but I actually do say to myself, what is my goal for the week? Is there a specific product? Is there a specific program that I'm working on promoting? Is there a sale, or is it the month end? So I'm very crystal clear on what it is that I'm promoting. That goes at the top of my page, right? So if it is like, I need to sell 5 of these packages by this date, I write that down. Then I simply say to myself, so what are all the things I can post about this week that are going to educate people on why they need this product or program or service in their life? What are some of the most common objections I get? How can I make that a post? How can I make sure my story is told in there as well? So everything that I am sharing is actually going to feed right back into the goal that I am working towards. So I always have one main post. That one main post is going to become my Instagram stories. So that's all going to be dictated, right, by that one main post. And then yes, sometimes that stuff becomes a live video. So if we take today, for example, this morning, I talked about planning in my Instagram. I now have gone live. I can also make that planning part of my stories, right? And so now you can see this interwoven theme that is combined together. Does that make sense? Okay. So yes, I do. And I don't plan it all out, but I always have sort of the tagline, what I kind of want the picture to look like. So I really am kind of working through all of that today. I know what my end goal is and what I'm working towards. Okay. So I really do encourage you guys, and pick one thing. If you confuse your audience, you're going to lose them. So don't be talking about 20 different things all at once. What's your marketing strategy for the next week? Talk about one specific thing, right, that you're like giving a strong call to action for. So if it's a specific product package, or it's an opportunity, or it's a service that you're promoting, one thing. Don't try to promote 5 different things at the same time, because you will confuse your audience. They won't know what to focus on, and you will end up losing a sale because of that. All right. Okay. What if you are working, including drive time from 6 a.m. to 6:30, and still being a mom and wife, trying to take care of yourself, I feel like there aren't enough hours in the day. So here's the thing. I get it that you are super busy. So I always say, okay, how can I wring and squeeze every free second out of my day? So if I'm in the car, right? If you're working, including drive time, earbuds are in, podcast is on. You're making phone calls. You're talking to prospective clients in the car. You're using your lunch hour work break to do your social media posts, right? Or you're using the weekends. So on Saturdays and Sundays, you can get up early or carve out time, a few hours, where you go off to the coffee shop and you do a lot of your work, that you prep it for the week. And maybe you do get things ready and you do the bulk of your stuff during the week. But here's what I always say, the fit ER for you specifically, why are you doing this? And that's the bigger question. Are you burning this candle at both ends because your why, your vision is to get out of a particular job, or to create freedom, or to be able to, cut back your hours? Like, what is the job that you're currently doing now? Why is it worth it for you to make the sacrifice to build this business that you're building right now? And so I asked myself, when my kids were little, what's the alternative? The pain of investing extra hours, the pain of getting up in 5 a.m. in the morning to do the work was worth it. I did not want to stay in the current situation that I was in. So you have to be really laser focused on why you want to carve out this time, right? So, and if you have a strong driving force and a strong why, you'll get there. And you always have to realize that, hey, this short-term sacrifice, living my life right now, a few years like other people are not willing to live their lives, is going to allow me the freedom that other people wish they could have in 3 years from now if I get laser focused. Also, there are probably a lot of things that people spend their time on that isn't income producing. So get really laser focused on that. So if you only have an hour a day, what is it that you absolutely need to do? What are the nice to haves? What are the essentials to growing your business? And you only focus on the essentials, okay? So maximizing your time in the car, maximizing your weekend time, getting laser focused on what you need to do and what you don't need to do, all right? So those would be some of my suggestions for you. I know it's possible. The busiest people have built the most successful businesses because they were disciplined and focused with the time that they did have. Okay, how many hours do I work on Sunday? So this is a great question. So how many hours do I work on Sunday? Well, typically it's a good 3 to 4 hours that I work. That's by choice. I love to get up on Sunday mornings and Saturday mornings at 5 or 6 in the morning. And if you think about it, I can work from 5 to like 8, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 9, 3 to 4 hours. I can get 8 hours in on a Saturday and Sunday, and I'm basically done with my workday by the time my kids get up. So I can do all of my planning, all of my prepping, all of my business stuff. My kids wake up and I have the rest of my day with them. I love it, but that's my personality. I want to invest on the weekends because that to me is my uninterrupted quiet time, because my weekends can be a little bit more chaotic. All right. Work-life balance. I get it. Somebody else asked the question, like, I don't feel like I have a work-life balance. And so that's on you to start setting some boundaries. These are my work hours. Turn off the notifications on your phone. Uninstall Facebook Messenger on your phone, or turn off Instagram notifications, DMs, Facebook notifications, all that. I don't have any notifications popping up on my phone, so that when I am having dinner with my family or I'm out with my girlfriends like we did last night, there is nothing showing up on my phone. You could be blowing me up on Messenger, but if it's not my work time, I'm not seeing it. So I set boundaries. I set work hours and I stick to it, all right? So for you guys, do the same thing. What's your office hours? When are you working? When is your family time? And then you have to be disciplined to make sure that you stick to that. Okay, Did you hire childcare when you got started? That's another good question. So my kids were 6 months and 2.5, and about 6 months in, about 6-7 months into building my business, I did hire a babysitter 2 days a week for 2.5 hours. She would come to the house. I would lock myself in the spare bedroom or in our basement, and I would have 2.5 hours of uninterrupted work time twice a week where I could crush out my business. But I still was getting up early and staying up late. So yes, I did, because I wanted to be the best mom I could be when I was with my kids. And so I wanted to make sure that I had work time so that I could be mom. And I was trying not to mesh the two together. Okay? It was so worth it. So worth it. Okay. How do I know what to post and when? Guys, I think I kind of already covered that question, but you always want to ask yourself, what am I promoting, right? What's the product or service? And then you're always thinking about what do I need to post that is going to drive back to that product and service, okay? All right. Do I have set business hours? I sure do. I sure do. I am working very hard. I go through these seasons of my business. When my kids were little, my business was sort of chaotic, and it was like shoving in all of the things when I could. I tried to create structure with the nap times and the weekends and the evenings. As my kids got a little bit older, I adjusted my schedule, right? So when they started going to preschool and when they started going to school, I would have different pockets of time. And now, right now, I have even more different pockets of time. They get on the bus at 8:10, 8:15, they come home at 4, and I work very hard to try to get all my work done during those work hours. But now we have things like baseball practices and, basketball practices. And so it leaves me like these other little pockets where they're all gone, and I'll sneak into my office and do a few things so that when they come home, then I can just kind of hang out. So I love the flexibility. I love the freedom. And I'm very good about setting those boundaries. All right. Okay. Here's the thing. You work out, Linda, you work out when it suits you. So you have to kind of say to yourself, so what does my day look like? Am I most motivated to work out when I get home at the end of my shift, even if it is the middle of the night? Am I most motivated to work out when I wake up, from sleeping even though you get home at 1 a.m.? I mean, you have to say to yourself, this fits my life best. Whatever fits your life best, whatever is you're motivated by is what you want to do. So I don't ever want to tell you guys like, you got to get up at 5 a.m. to be successful. No, you've got to say, where is my peak productivity times and how am I going to play into my times that I'm most productive? All right. Okay. The other thing is for you guys too. Let me see. Using the planner, we kind of talked about that. Guys, I didn't create the Rise Up planner. So for those of you that are asking all of those questions, you can actually go to Moira Kusaba's page. She's got all sorts of Instagram little tutorials on how to use that planner. You can go to the Rise Up planner on YouTube. She's got a lot of tutorials there as well. All right. Also, as far as I know, this isn't really related to the topic, and I see that question there about getting objections. So again, Lindsay, this is what you want to build into your social media plan. Number one, your no's, they're going to happen. You're going to get objections. You're going to get rejections. You have to be able to say, just because I'm getting somebody that's telling me no, that doesn't mean not ever. It just means no, not right now. But it also, Lindsay, go back and actually say to yourself, like, evaluate your conversations. Am I not really connecting with my people well enough? Am I not asking enough questions to really understand their why they're interested in this service? Am I just jumping to the sale? Am I just sending somebody a link to purchase? Like, am I actually really relating to them and having a conversation? The next thing you can do is say to yourself, on my social media, how am I showing people why they need the product and service that I have? Why I'm the best person for the job? So ask yourself, okay, if I'm getting a lot of objections, how can I show people on my post, on my feed, on my stories, through video, why they need what I have to offer? So give yourself like a good evaluation of those areas and see where you fall in there. Okay? All right, guys, I have given you lots of tips on content and planning, and I really hope that this was helpful. If you've got more questions, keep them coming. I really enjoy helping you guys be productive. But yes, sit down and make a list of ideas of things that you can post about this week. Get some of your taglines and headlines together. I've got mine. Mine is all ready to go. And I'm ready. I'm ready for an awesome week ahead, and you guys are too. All right. And I learned this. This has been a process of every Sunday, discipline, focus, sort of refining, reflecting, and reevaluating. And you guys can do it too. Okay. All right. Take care. Have a great Sunday. Bye, everybody.